Welcome back to game 3 of horses, not horses. Well, almost because of Quiche, but Vikings versus Triple Bit Axe. I think this will be pretty familiar to you guys. Lost Quiche and Shania Twain in similar positions. Quiche once again pocket, Shania and lost flanks. Same thing for Triple Bit Axe. Actually not. This is lost against Trace as flank rather, and Joker flushes in the pocket, with Hammer Time still in flank. So I think on 9x9, Joker not confident as a flank. Here you can kind of watch him improvise his build order. It'll be roughly copying Trace. He has not practiced 9x9. Trace, decent at it, not great. Meanwhile, Triple Bit Axe, they have been practicing this a lot. This has been their map of focus for the past few weeks. They've been hosting it frequently and have been playing with each other. 9x9 is the jam. It used to be 7x7, but now they're just good at both instead. Not quite as good as we saw last time as Triple Bit Axe, but they were very good. They were similar at least, and definitely put up a competitive fight that game. But Trace just too good of a pocket. Quiche not fast enough to both sides. Lost, not really holding on his own, and Shania as Khmer unable to contribute much later on. So if you look at civs, the pocket for Triple Bit Axe is Aztecs. Finally, someone not using it as a flank. They're not a great flank civ, passable at best. Missing guilds. They do have a slight collection bonus, but +3 is much bigger on non-turbo than it is on turbo, because on turbo mode you already collect 25 resources, so adding 3 is not a big deal. For Trace, Burmese, very strong civ, one of the best for flanks, good economy, very strong champions, good siege. Hammer Time, Sicilians, same thing, decent infantry, good siege, good economy. Shania Twain is a Saracens, one of the best civs in general. Insane economy, decent units, with siege onager and bomber cannon, very good siege. Lost clicking up very fast here. Lost is also the Burmese, so it is a Burmese war on the top side, Trace against Lost. This will be interesting to see. Both are very strong players. Trace is sort of considered the number one right now for nothing, although he hasn't been playing as much recently. Quiche, pocket as melee. Melee very strong if you give them time, because they have cheap 200 swordsmen and they can spam it for a very long time. Unfortunately, that does require a castle and a lot of farms, so it is pretty slow to get into. See, a common misconception on 9x9 is to go 3 town centers because you have 200 extra stone, but you will only have 3 farms, which is not enough for 3 town centers, not even close. As you can see, everyone else doing 2 town centers, well, Hammer Time as well, not experienced on 9x9. So this seems like Vikings have a bit of an advantage now, because 9x9 is map they've practiced that Triple Bit Axe has not at all. Maybe a bit of an oversight by them. They probably should have, because it would make... It feels like at this point, no matter how well you play an imp, it's going to be very difficult to beat Shania and Lost playing this good of a 9x9. Or at least this much better of one. Saracens, obviously one of the best. And they're going up against Sicilians, which are very good, but not quite comparable. Very few civs are comparable to Saracens. The Vikings, one thing they're good at is keeping their best civs for later on. They don't use them all on 11 by 11. And they try to save them not for the maps that they're already good at, like 9 by 9. Although in this case they are using them because they are too behind. I am still getting used to Capture Age. It's something I've never used before, but I do kind of enjoy it. First aim time goes to Lost as the Burmese. Very impressive. About 30 seconds ahead of Trace, and they're very close to each other, so this will be very impactful. On this side, Shania clicked up, hammer time, not even a market. So it's gonna be at least a minute before he's in Imperial Age. Same thing here, only just getting a market. Only just building the siege workshop. So this side of the map is Joker and hammer time. Obviously I've not practiced 9 by 9, even though it was in the rule set that 9 by 9 would be included. Shania Twain, as is customary, cuts the wrong way. Just really wants to rush the corner, maybe trade. I doubt it, because I don't think Shania is that bad. Lost, like any sensible person, cutting straight forward. Trace, taking some influence from Shania, cutting to the edge. Again, not a recommended strategy. Usually if you have a sense of direction, you would start cutting forward. You can see Shania found his a little bit late, but better than ever. And this will give Hammer Time hope to hold on, because he has only just hit Imperial. And, well, Shania's already got 6 town centers. So it's a similar case as last game, but even more extreme. Joker cutting the Trace, maybe a bit of a mistake because he's leaving Hammer Time to die. But maybe he intends that, maybe he thinks Hammer Time has no chance, so might as well go all in one. This is a little bit unfortunate for Trace. He's not cutting in quite the right direction. And because Lost is cutting slightly faster forward, Lost will reach Trace before Trace reaches Lost. So if Trace cut this way faster, then that would benefit him. But Lost is cutting this way faster. And I think Trace could see on the map he's cutting slightly the wrong way. But it's not too far off. This is a mistake that would be seen. It isn't the worst mistake in the world, but it is a huge disadvantage because you'll just be so far behind once this. You'll be caught off guard. They'll be right in your economy instantly. So this seems to be lining up very well for a win for the Vikings, but Quiche is a little bit slow. They need time. He's getting a castle on only 4 town centers. So his economy is going to be pretty stunted. We can see population, he's on 91. Compared to the second lowest, it's Lost at 120. So he's like 30 behind everyone else. So even though you need a castle as melee, you don't want to abandon your economy. You still want to get more space, you need more farms, and you need town centers. If you look on this side, this is just like an incredible boom from Shania. Compared to Lost, not great. He is on 5 town centers, but he has been on it for much smaller amount of time rather. So he's 30 population behind. Overall numbers are very similar for all sides. Fighting has begun here. You see Trace caught a little bit off guard, but Joker is there quickly. And Trace has not taken any eco damage. At least nothing significant. I need to get used to checking upgrades up here. Trace fully upgraded, Lost almost fully upgraded, missing an armor upgrade. But Quiche is now connected, spamming those 200 swordsmen out without upgrades yet, but hopefully he'll see that. But Lost is very strong here. He is 10 population ahead of Trace, around 6 or 7 population behind Joker. But Joker's infantry is not all at the front, he's producing from back. So Lost will have a window to enter the economy of Trace. And once Quiche comes in, he'll be able to stabilize, and Joker will not just overrun him once he gets going. Joker has committed to a castle, which has slowed him down greatly. Not much wood at all banked up. Nothing really queued either. If you look on this side, Shania has still not opened up because well, the direction wasn't quite there at the start. But look at this. No farm upgrades for Quiche, no farm upgrades for Shania Twain. 2 farm upgrades for Lost, but he's still missing one. The Vikings have just not been on top of it with their farm upgrades, especially Quiche and Shania. Lost has gotten 1 or 2 every game, but it's just not enough. You need all of them. The second one increases your food outcome because all your villagers carry +1. But I guess who cares, because Quiche is winning. They are winning this top side. Trace never quite able to rebound completely from the loss at the start, and he's losing his secluded economy here. And he's starting to be cut in half from like kind of this area of the base and hit this area. And Joker, after committing to a castle, does have strong infantry, but it's missing an upgrade, so it's not even that much stronger. And these 200 swordsmen, well, they'll just trade infinitely because they're so cheap. And compound that with the siege and infantry from Lost, which are much stronger but more expensive, and they'll be able to push without being pushed back. On this side, Shania's just got siege onagers. And Hammer Time, with some champions, fully upgraded. But Shania, also with champions, also fully upgraded. And Shania with siege onagers and bomber cannons. Joker helping his ally out by telling him what to do. But against bomber cannons, you really can't do anything. Once Shania's in this insane economy with Saracens of all cids, is just unstoppable, unless you were a civ with equal economy, which Hammer Time does not unfortunately have. And we can see at the top here, military numbers have swung hugely in favor of the Vikings. They have almost double the numbers, and economy is also slightly in their favor still. Chase, kind of out of it, he's trying to boom in the back. It's really up to Joker to hold here, but Hammer Time's not really getting anything done on the other flank, so there's not much of a way back for Triple Bit Axe here. And, well, there's just too many swordsmen here for both players, Lost and Quiche. Aztec champions are nice, but not that nice. The only way to get rid of this infantry would be with siege, and Joker just can't afford that right now with only 3,000 wood. This side, Shania very comfortably taking a lead with 50 more lumberjacks and consistently more wood in the bank and better units. Unfortunately, my computer is not good enough to just speed this up anymore, so we'll be watching the slow fall of Triple Bit Axe. But at least we could get a high definition view of these lack of farm upgrades. the Vikings don't believe in farm upgrades. Maybe they think they don't help, or that they don't exist. Maybe they forgot. But the fact that they forgot several games in a row, all of their farm upgrades, is a little bit concerning. You might wonder how they got this far. And you must also think that they're really good if they can beat this strong team without even getting their farm upgrades. And it's cids that rely on so much food as well. All of them making champions, and one of them making champions that cost extra food. You'd really think farm upgrades would help with 56 farms, but Quiche would beg to defer. With 0 farm upgrades and 0 care because he is winning in the front. Getting chemistry, definitely an important technology. Maybe farm upgrades could go with that. Getting elite battle elephant, interesting choice, but as we expected, the game is called. Hammer time, not holding on here. No chance for Joker 1v2 here. Statistics. And look how late these end times are for Quiche, slightly late. Although he is on the Vikings team, he has not practiced 9x9 like they have. Hammer time, very late. Joker flush, late. Trace, decent. Early actually. Shania Twain, good. Lost, very good. But just much better around. More buildings killed, more units killed. Most food definitely not going to any of these players because they do not have their farm upgrades except maybe Lost. See Quiche with 60 farms but only 40,000 food collected. So I do stress a lot that farms are important, but the more farms you have, the more important it is to have farm upgrades, because that applies to all farms. So we will return. In fact, we will go straight into the next game. Once again, 9x9. And we'll see how it's different this time. Maybe Joker Flush has learned a build order since then, but there are no breaks between games, so probably not. Once again, hammer time, flank. Joker Flush, flank. So Trace went flank for a game and he decided, you know what, I want to be pocket again. So he's being pocket again. And maybe if they shake things up a bit, this will work. Joker's Flush says going 2 TCs, probably a wise decision. After being 3 town centers, 3 farms, it didn't really work out for him. But let's look at civs. Lost is Goths. Very strong. A bit slow, but decent siege. Very good infantry. Quiche, Koreans with very good siege. Decent infantry. Not great infantry, actually. And Shania Twain as Aztecs. Aztec flank, not my favorite, but whatever works. They don't have guilds, so they're a little bit slow, but they do have good champions. Good infantry, good siege. Across from Shania is Hammer Time as Koreans. We already discussed them, but they also have a wood bonus on all units, besides siege units, which doesn't really apply too much except halberdiers and arbalest, because we're not making many other units here. Trace as Ethiopians. Ethiopians is very scary in the hands of Trace, because he is very good if you give him time. And he is a pocket, so we'll see what he can do with Ethiopians. And last but not least, Joker Flush as Japanese. Well, in this case maybe least because it is Joker on 9x9. Not his brightest map. Hammer time sells. If we compare population, Joker Flush is inexplicably 3 population behind, and at this point in the game 3 is a lot because you only have so much of an economy. So he must have been housed pretty badly early on, which is common on 9x9 because the first three houses are intuitive, but usually one of them's a mill, and you don't want to delete the mill until you have a lumber camp, but there's no real place to put the lumber camp, so it could be a little confusing if you don't know what you're doing. So, in other words, it was a little confusing for Joker Flush. He is the first up to Castle Age, but he is only on 18 population while everyone else is going ahead. And the thing is, on smaller maps, Castle Age isn't as important because you're only adding one extra town center rather than two. And he does add that extra one town center. He's getting the first wood upgrade, getting wheelbarrow, getting the second wood upgrade. And now Lost and Shania advance. And we see who has a better population here. Joker Flush is at 19. Lost with a slower Castle Age is at 23. Shania Twain with a slower one at 25. They're all now, so they all have 2 town centers. Or Shania is a bit late, but not significantly. Actually, the in-game sound are a little bit behind text. And that's just something with capture age. There's probably a way to fix it, but not for tonight. Joker Flush just consistently behind a little bit. In fact, not anymore. Trace is actually the one falling behind. But in general, you can see slight eco lead for the Vikings. Ten extra workers is pretty beneficial at this stage. We can see all the players at once, different build orders. Some do it this way, some this way. Hammer time, 3 town centers once again. It seems he did not learn from his mistakes. Maybe he did not believe them to be mistakes. But he will be late once more. With the villager high in the game. But also with less than 100 food. But Shania is on 600. In fact, Shania will probably be clicking up soon with 12,000 wood. So it's Lost. As you can tell, some players have practiced. Unfortunately, they have practiced without farm upgrades. I'm not sure why. We've discussed this previously. Maybe it's some sort of symbolism. The Vikings, maybe they don't like farms. But maybe on Forest Nothing he should accept farms a little bit because there's no other form of food. Vikings historically not the best Forest Nothing players. Although in current modern days they are some of the best. But once again, hammer time. 30 seconds off. Shania already adding a 5th town center. Similar story. Hammer time slightly smoother, but still behind. And even though I don't like Aztecs as a civ, they are still pretty good, especially Shania, who has played them many times. Lost, on the other hand, with Goths, a civ that I do like to play. Not the best, not the worst, but if you prevent your opponent from getting to the point where siege is good, then they're really strong, because they are weak to siege. But if you kill them before siege is a thing, then, well, who cares? All of a sudden Goths are not weak to siege. Shania, once again, without a sense of direction, cutting this way rather than, this way. The very simple way to do it is to just look at the map. Obviously you can't see the enemy players, but you can draw a line. You can draw a circle between your earthly players and continue around the rest. Because this is an approximate circle. The circle did not go like this. The circle went around like this. Trace once again cutting to 2 players, as he does best, and it's Ethiopians as well. But this time, because they're so late on 9x9, and the Vikings are so fast, Lost is rushing with champions already, and Joker Flush is only on 2-handed swordsman. He's missing upgrades. Lost has all of his that he can get. In fact, he even has farm upgrade. I'm quite proud of him for that. Shania as well, getting their farm upgrades. Quite impressive. This is pretty exploratory stuff for them. Farm upgrades, a new concept, even getting a second farm upgrade. You'd think they wouldn't ever not accept it at this point because of how they've acted in the past, but they have changed their ways, and they're beginning to accept this new form of technology called heavy plow and crop rotation. And guess what? They get farm upgrades, they win. Well, they haven't won yet for sure. Trace is coming in as Ethiopians, and he is getting siege. But Joker Flush is starting to fall apart. He's got some siege to hold, but as you can see, he's deleted all of his farms. He's abandoned his economy, and it's still 5 minutes for Sling. And it is a pretty large advantage in military numbers for the Vikings. Chase is connected to Hammer Time on this side though, so Shania will be 1v2 if he does open. Hammer Time not cutting perfectly straight in a circle, but it's kind of there. If you cut a little, it would work out. Shania just cutting for trade or something, who knows. Trace getting a castle for that unique tech, but it might be a little late because Joker he doesn't really have much. And Trace is opening with Halbs, which is the ideal unit as Ethiopians, but he doesn't have much siege to back it up. So as long as it's just Halbs, it's not really going to help out because these are champions. And Halbs don't do much against champions except slow them down. And now Shania finally found a map, realized a mini-map exists, and he's going to start cutting downwards, and now he'll probably see Hammer Time. But Hammer Time does have a strong composition of Arbalest and bomber cannons, which does questionably well against siege onagers depending on micro. Bombard cannons can kill them, Arbalest not really. And let's look at these upgrades. +1, +2 for Shania, and the rest of the team is fully upgraded. +3, +3 Arbalest, or +4 rather. +2, +4 for Chase, missing just an attack. +2, +2 for Joker, missing both late game upgrades. And we'll see what Shania is up to here, because it's really hard to push this. All these bomber cannons, all these Arbalest. Very smart move to go Arbalest by Hammer Time. Usually I would like to have Halberdiers in front if you have the time, so that you can kind of have a buffer, so that enemy siege can't just walk up so fast. But because there's Arbalest bomber cannon, you can't really take any good engagement. So Shania is going to try to avoid the main army and cut around into the economy, but Shania doesn't even have the units right now, despite this amazing economy. Just doesn't really have many champions. A lot of them died to Arbalest, but Shania is also widening the field, which makes it harder for the bombard cannons to hold their ground, because you can get so many siege onagers in at once, and these siege rams as well will nullify the Arbalest. On this side, Joker is kind of out of it. It's really just Lost and Quiche against Trace, so Trace will be 2v1. Quiche, in his signature move, fighting without any farm upgrades. In fact, fighting without the last wood upgrade too. It's pretty impressive if the Vikings manage to win this without getting farm upgrades. Usually it's recommended to. And Shania Twain with halfway upgraded pikemen plus 1 attack, plus 2 armor. And a lot of pikemen, 43 cubed, 50 on the map. So let's hope he can remember those upgrades by the end. Otherwise, this will not be great for him, because when you make so many pikemen that could have doubled the armor, it's not going to be happy. But the siege onagers are the ones doing most of the damage, not the pikemen. The pikemen are just there to delay. If they had armor, that would help. Take what you can. Joker making some onagers, but nothing else really. Lost taking his time to boom, getting his castle up. Hopefully he'll start recontributing units, because Quiche cannot fight this alone. Quiche is producing once again from back here. One thing he does need to work on is getting forward production. And maybe he disagrees with this, but maybe he should get farm upgrades. It might help out a little bit. Hot take. Same with Shania Twain. Got 2 this game. Very impressive. Still missing one. Actually, Chase. Not getting farm upgrades. He's taken a page out of the Vikings book. He saw them win last game without many farm upgrades, and he's like, that is a great idea. So he instead sticks with Horse Collar, playing it safe. And well, he's not doing too bad. He's got Halberdier, Siege Onager on both sides. But is it enough on both sides? Because it's not very many. And Joker Flush can't really do much, because he's only adding farms now. As you can see, 170, 170, 200, 170, and then just 70, 78. He's about 100 population behind everyone else. So it'll be a long time before Joker Flush gets back into this game. And Chase and Hammer are going to have to hold 2v3 for a little while. Luckily, Shania is giving them the chance without getting upgrades. It does have siege engineers, which is really useful against the Arbalest, because it allows you to outrange them. It allows you to hit them without being too close to the bombard cannons or the Arbalest themselves, although they kill siege onagers pretty slowly. Quiche as Koreans, not getting the unique tech. Koreans, usually the best thing going for them is the unique tech, so it's recommended to get it at some point. Not right away, because it's not that amazing, but having +1 range is really useful. So it is something you should get later on. Same with upgrades for infantry when you're going full infantry. Does usually help out. And Shania now has to play on the defense, because he is 1v2, at least 1.5. Trace is slightly distracted on the other side. But Quiche and Lost starting to push with the siege onagers, trebuchets, and a mass of infantry. And Quiche is starting to cut to this side as well. A smart move, because this distance is actually quite small. And he will really help Shania, who's really wondering why his pikes aren't doing as well as he thinks. Or maybe he knows they don't have upgrades, and he, similar to the farm upgrades, he refuses to get them for some reason. Maybe he thinks it slows down the infantrymen by putting too much weight on them. If you're watching this and you want advice, you should probably get your armor upgrades. It does not slow down your infantry at all. See, they move at the same speed they always do. But once again, the weakness of Joker Flush is going to show. He hasn't practiced 9x9, and because of that, Lost defeated him pretty quickly before Trace could even help him out. So Lost is gonna start his exodus into Trace's base, but it's pretty late. It's 45 minutes in, and Trace is starting, he's feeling the pressure now, as Quiche and Lost Korean siege with Goth infantry, it's really tough to stop. And infantry coming in on the left side as well to support Shania Twain. Quiche is really playing this well, besides the economy. Uh, Moderately poor lumber camps, not great. Could be a lot better. No need to beat a dead horse, but farm upgrades, lumber upgrade would really help, especially the lumber upgrade. That's never something you should miss. Upgrades on pikes could help a bit, as in they could help a whole lot. But Joker losing his base here. Quiche pushing with these. He's starting to mass these siege onagers, and siege onagers are very deadly when massed. And Traces, he's on his own on this side, and he's trying to support this side at the same time, and it's not working out. And with Quiche here, Hammer's going to be feeling the pressure, and it's going to be a full 3v2. Good lumber camps for Shania. Decent lumber camps for, in fact, very good lumber camps with Hammer time. Same with Trace. Not good on this side, but that's alright. He just won. Joker flush, these are like his first lumber camps. So many pikes. So many lost opportunities. But siege onagers are the ones doing the damage. Pikes are just there to soak. So as long as Shania has these siege onagers, he will do well, because these are gonna die very quickly. Boom, more siege onager shots. Finally some excitement. Who knows how long it's been, but this is a pretty long set, and I can't speed up so much in capture age, so it is a bit of a grind. But they're starting to clean up this side. And if Quiche uses his space for forward production, he will be much better than he was in the last few games, because that was his main issue. Once he has forward production, he does fight a lot stronger, as anyone would. Hammer getting infantry upgrades, he realizes these arbalests aren't working out against so many siege rams, so many siege onagers. And Quiche actually comes in here. He killed all of his own champions. Not recommended, but I mean, who am I to judge? I'm not the one playing. Quiche is, and Quiche is winning. Of course, not just Quiche. Shania has been playing very well. So has Lost. Chase has been playing well. Joker has been playing well, despite the poor start. Hammer Time has really been giving it his all, but he is doing arbalest against siege units. Trace actually still only on one farm upgrade. He's really committing to this idea of anti-farm. But he has been playing very well, and he has been doing a lot this game. He's been so good with siege launchers, but he's 2v1 on one side, and if you're gonna fight 2v1, you want all of your units on one side. There's no way you're fighting 1v3, which is kind of what's going on right now. Zooming out actually looks super cool now. You can kind of see how the game's played out. Cutting here first, cutting here, but then cutting through here, cutting through here, cutting through here. I could use this as a thumbnail or something, because it's way cooler than what normal Age of Empires maps provide. If you want to zoom back in on the action, these +1, +2 pikes, giving it their all. These siege onagers. Shania probably needs a few more of them, but even one siege onager can deal devastating damage. Quiche is here, cleaning up this side of the map. Hammer Time's base here was isolated and defeated, and now it's all focused on this one spot. Same on this side. Joker was isolated here, and now they can focus down Trace in the middle. with this ball of siege onagers, trebuchets, and just all of this Goth infantry. And it's starting to really come together for the Vikings. They've started to create this unstoppable push on both sides with a lot of siege, and Joker just doesn't have the time to get back in the game. Chase is giving it his best. Hammer Time's really trying, but Hammer Time doesn't really have the units, doesn't really have the economy anymore because he's lost much of his base. And we can see at the top, military numbers hugely in favor of the Vikings. Economic numbers similar, but still in favor of the Vikings. This is pretty dangerous because these could all die to 2 Ethiopian siege onagers. Luckily they don't, they instead die to infantry. I mean, pick your poison. But Hammer Time holding, really trying here, but the siege onagers is just too tough to stop. If he had his own, he could at least combat them, but he's fully committed to Arbalest, so he doesn't really have the time to change anymore. Unfortunately, it's late into the game. This is not good. Quiche likes to send his infantry in without formation. He likes to do it in line formation. Don't do that. Also, don't skip your farm upgrades. Almost an hour game time. Trade at this point would really start paying off, but it's only 30 trade and it's not very efficient, and it's starting to die. And even if these pikes aren't the best upgraded, there's a lot of them, so they will do their job of holding, while the siege onagers deliver the damage. On this side, same story. Siege is actually completely gone from Trace. It's just up to the Vikings to run in here and start killing stuff, because it's wide open. There's no units. Well, there are units, but not many. There's not enough to stop any large ball of infantry. And Joker slightly rebounded in population, but still 100 behind most other players, except Shania Twain, who's been losing a lot of pikemen, producing a lot of pikemen. Like, look at this. But losing so many pikemen because they do not have full upgrades. Upgrades are very important. I don't want to repeat the same thing over and over again, but you can just see how fast these pikemen are dying. I'm not used to it scrolling out so far, although it is cool to watch. You can kind of see, first the fighting was here, first the fighting was here, fighting's here now, fighting's here now. It's just getting smaller and smaller for triple Vidax. This map just looks really cool. And now we can spot everyone's lumber camps from afar. Bad, bad, bad. Good. He's all the villagers here. Decent. Pretty good. A lot of excessive lumber camps. Okay. Kinda bad. Kinda bad. Good. Bad. Bad. Good. And look at this, getting armor upgrades at a pretty inconvenient time, but Joker hasn't had much infantry anyways, so it's not the biggest deal. And now, Trace's economy is the battlefield now, so any fights here are just gonna hurt Trace more and more. And the trade's gonna die. There's really not much. Well, actually, Hammer Time is holding. These Aztec pikes are just unable to close in, and they're really crowding over the siege onagers, which is preventing them from getting close and stopping them up for Hammer Time's bombard cannons. So Hammer Time's actually able to hold here. But his population is low, his economy is not great, and we can see both economy and military are shifting in favor of the Vikings. And there could be some very good shots here, but even if not, these Huskarls will kill them anyways. We do get some good shots. That is the excitement we've been waiting for. An hour game time and much longer out of all games. Most created units lost. Trace. We can kind of see still Hammer Time. Late. Quiche is a little late. Joker doing better, but still a little bit later. Chase with the most units killed. And Shania with the most units lost. Actually similar to Trace. Trace lost a lot of units this game. Most food collected. I'm actually very surprised. Trace collected the most food without heavy plow. And we're just not going to even look over on the left side, because if Quiche watches this, he's already heard enough. But I'm not sorry, Quiche. Joker flush actually with 300 villager high, but just not enough units. And we have one more game, because it is 2-2 now, and this is the deciding game for us. Nothing by 11, because the Vikings won that. The Triple Bidax now gets to choose a home map, and they choose 11 by 11, which they won quite convincingly the first time around. This time, Quiche pocket once more Portuguese, Shania Twain Bulgarians, and lost with Ethiopians. Hammer Time, the opposing flank, Saracens, Trace, Bulgarians, Joker, Slavs. Similar recipe. Trace pocket, Quiche pocket, Trace with siege onager save, Quiche without. Ethiopians very strong, saving the best for last, but Saracens even stronger, saving the best for last. Bulgarians, I really disagree with putting them in a pocket, because as the game goes on they just get weaker and weaker. But Slav flanks, very strong. Bulgarian flank is strong if you know how to play them, and if you have a sense of direction, because you need to be fast with them. Quiche, Portuguese, strong pocket and flank. If you can come in with those homing bombard cannons, it's very strong. And for now, everyone's just doing the build orders. Everyone's pretty similar on 11 by 11. Slightly better for Triple Bidax, because Hammer Time has more experience on it, and he's a lot weaker on the other maps. You can see everything's even. 0 military at this point, but eco units hovering right around the middle for both. Sides, I do prefer Triple Bidax, I like Serbs. I like Slavs more than Bulgarians, but both have chances. Both Ethiopians and Bulgarians have a good rush that they can execute. So if they execute it just right and they get a good rush, they can beat these ideally stronger civs that are Saracens and Slavs. I do like this overlay, it's very nice. Although, we should count that Triple Bit X has lost another game and Vikings have won, so it's 2-2. And this is the deciding game. And Trace is a very strong pocket, so on 11 by 11 he will be able to do his well-practiced, tried-and-true strategy of cutting to both. He's not as good at that. It's very difficult to do. I can't do it. I've tried and I failed miserably. But we'll see how this goes, because if the Vikings bring up the right tricks in the sleeves, it will work. Lost Ethiopians. He did mention before the game that he likes to do show tell warriors. A questionable unit, very high attack, very low everything else. You have to make them from the castle, but they do produce very quickly, very, very quickly. So I did talk with the Vikings. I did mention to them that maybe they should get their farm upgrades. And look at this, all of them heavy plow. Especially Quiche, who I was pretty disappointed in not having his farm upgrades, because I played a lot of games with Quiche before and he's a good player, but nobody's a good player without farm upgrades. And this is a castle. This is a castle for loss and one season. And he's getting the unique tech royal heirs, which lets Shotel warriors produce very quickly. And this means just one thing. Of course, I watched this game previously. I watched it live, so I knew exactly what was going to happen. But I could at least try to build suspense. And look at this, so many queued. He just keeps queuing them and queuing them and queuing them. But they're fast. They have high attack. 20 attack, look at this. They just melt through these siege onagers. But what they don't melt through is Arbalest. And Trace, being as good as he is already there. He'll be there soon. And Chotels are just really bad against range units. You can see here, they're not even getting close. They just die right away. And they're not elite either, so they're not as strong as they could be. Questionable decision from Lost. Maybe not the best. Very exciting to see. These are units you don't see very often. They look pretty cool. Pretty cool sights that they have. They kind of have both, one in each hand. You can zoom in so far with capture age, but you can see a few Arbalists died, but so many more Shortels die. The Onager is a good idea, but it's just too little too late. If you look on this, I should probably slow down. It's a little too fast to keep up. Shania for trade once again, and our flush cuts into Shania, and because Shania took so long, Bulgarians don't really have the blast force that they have at the very beginning. Instead, Joker Flush has the time as Slavs to get fully upgraded champions, which are just better than these 200 swordsmen. And he's gonna try to come in here with Bomber Cannon's champions, but he has to do it quickly because this side is not going well. Trace is already here with 200 swordsmen with 8 armor. So Lost is 2v1, and he's 2v1 two fully boomed players. But Quiche is cutting. Quiche has opened. Fully upgraded champions. Still missing a farm upgrade, but I'll give him slack. It's better than last time. Spearmen in Imperial Age. Well, they're pikemen now, which is better. But it's not the ideal unit. So Joker actually has no units at the front here. He's got champions now. At the last moment, he has gotten enough units. Quiche having issues. His champions are walking around, which is not ideal at all. He loses some barbaric cannons. Lost instead. The short shells did not work out. They looked awesome, but against Arbalest, I mean, what can they do? And Trace is just fully boomed. I said Bulgarians aren't great because they cost so much, they don't have good eco upgrades, but when you have this economy, it doesn't matter. And this is just too strong. Siege Onagers, Arbalest, Bombard Cannon, Trebuchet. Lost is already dead. He's got nothing. 33 minutes, 2 minutes is sling allowed, so maybe Quiche and Shania can sling him, but I don't see him coming back. And they're not even pushing fast enough here because Quiche, once again, he has decent forward production here. But it's still slow. He's not making any bombard cannons, I believe. He's got some, but he's not making more. And they're not fighting siege onagers like they need to be. Just more champions. As Portuguese, you need more than champions. They're fully upgraded except squires, but it's just not enough. There's no Civ that just makes champions. Even Goths have Huskarls and bombard cannons. And it's just over here. Nothing. Nothing Moss can do. And it's hard to blame him. Ethiopians versus Saracens is already a losing matchup. You might as well try something new. It doesn't work out because turns out you got soft countered on accident. And this seems to be the end for the Vikings. This time it is triple bit axe with the economic and the military advantage, especially military. As Quiche just is not fueling the amount of units he needs, and Shania just going halves. These bombard cannons are nice. I don't see Quiche if Quiche actually has a castle. If you're a pocket, you should get a castle. Like, as most civs, you should get a castle because of conscription. Not as all, but as most. Like, there's just no reason not to. You have the time, you have the resources. GG is called. Lost is dead. They're not put here, they're losing. There's just no chance. Triple Bit X had the better civs for the last map. They were more prepared on 11x11. And they take the game. And that is a win for Triple Bit X. And that is 3-2. That wraps up the winners finals. Triple Bit X, 3-2 Vikings. And Vikings move on to the losers finals, where they face Trojan Horses, which is me. And, well, that already happened, but I'm not going to spoil it. It was a fun set. This one was also good, and The winner of me versus Vikings, whoever that is, will face Triple Great Axe again in the grand finals. But that is it for today. I will see you all guys next time. Good games.